All right, now today being the last day of November, a month dedicated to raising awareness on men's health, particularly mental health and suicide prevention. How are we doing as a country in terms of ensuring that our men are speaking up? That will be the conversation today on To The Point. But first, let's take a look at the stories making headlines tonight.
Tonight, former DP Rigathi Gachagua now says he fell out with President Ruto over Adani deal.
Hii maneno ya Adani na zile zingine ndio ilifanya mimi na rais tukakuwa hatuelewani.
Gachagua promising to give directions to his supporters in January. Also tonight, the gospel of Shah. Ministry of Health now turns to churches to educate Kenyans on the Social Health Authority Shah.
Usijiandikishe peke yako. Ukijiandikisha, muandikishe mwenzako.
As DP Kithure Kindiki expressed confidence that Shah will work.
The new social health insurance will work.
Plus, Nakuru pastor accused of stabbing his wife is still at large as Pastor Dorcas now blames for poor upbringing of their children over the rising cases of femicide.
I think that is one of the things is a lack of the family values. The other one is mental health.
And Turkana governor weds his second wife in a colorful Turkana traditional wedding. But what does it take for a traditional wedding in Turkana? We tell you tonight.
All right, welcome to this live broadcast. 22047 is our SMS line. My name is Odida, and our sign language interpreter tonight is Catherine Simaloy. Of course, as always, we are live on our social media platforms at TV47 Kenya on Facebook and YouTube, at TV47 News KE on X. The hashtag is To The Point. Let's get started. Now, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has revealed reasons that led to his fallout with President William Ruto barely a month after his impeachment from office. Gachagua, who now says the people of Mount Kenya have known President William Ruto well after their fallout, said he was the only person with courage to face the head of state and warn him against Adani Group JKIA deal. But then President William Ruto accused him of failing to support government initiatives. Mike Kagonga with that report.
Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has hinted reasons why his former boss, President William Ruto, wanted him out of office 2 years after they were elected in the 2022 general election. Speaking during a church service in Murang'a on Sunday, Gachagua said his bitter fallout with President William Ruto was, among other things, the Adani JKIA deal, which according to him was punitive to Kenyans.
Hii maneno ya Adani na zile zingine ndio ilifanya mimi na rais tukakuwa hatuelewani. Because pale katika cabinet ilikuwa ni mimi peke yangu naweza mwambia rais ukweli. Wengine wote ni waoga. Akikodoa macho namna hii, wote wanaenda chini.
According to Gachagua, a large number of cabinet officials fear correcting the president, therefore permitting him to enact laws that harm Kenyans.
Mimi nilikuwa kwa cabinet peke yangu ndio nimepinga. Nikasema nikisikiza raia hawataki hii maneno, mheshimiwa rais, tafadhali tusiwasukume wa Kenya, watatuletea balaa. Rais akasema hapana, you don't have to do what is popular, you do what is right. Nikamwambia that's okay Mr. President, but if the majority of Kenyans who elected us and we are democracy are saying it is not right, how can we insist it is right?
In support of his claims, he cited MP's responses to Ruto's cancellation of Adani's agreement with Kenya, claiming that even those who had previously backed it changed their mind to back Ruto.
Juzi mambo ya Adani wanapiga debe, Adani ni mtu mzuri nini. Rais kusema hii Adani ni mkora vile wazungu wamesema. Wakanaamuka wanaita rais ati Igwe. Simuliona? Igwe. Muliwaona?
Since his ouster, the former DP has been vocal in his criticism of the government, accusing it of intimidation and harassment. He recently accused the government of harassment and intimidation, claiming that security agents in unmarked cars have been following him and were spotted around his Nairobi and Nyeri homes.
Hata sahi president amesema ni mbaya, hakukuwa na haja ya kumpigia makofi kwa sababu haikutoka kwa roho yake. Hiyo ilikuwa ni maneno ya Amerika. He only responded after that suspect was indicted in the United States. It did not come from his heart, so there was no need to clap for him.
Gachagua disclosed that talks with religious leaders and political allies who share similar views are still ongoing, and that a formal announcement is anticipated in January. Mike Kagwango, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, there was a standoff this evening at Ihura Stadium in Murang'a after former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and his entourage attended a music concert. The peace caravan came to a standstill for the better part of the evening after the organizers denied Gachagua a chance to address the gathering, accusing him of gate-crashing. Gachagua would, however, leave the meeting followed by his followers to Murang'a town. He later took to his social media platforms saying that the Mount Kenya Festival Peace Concert was a great thriller and thanked the people of Murang'a and the organizers. Reports indicate upon Gachagua setting foot on the podium together with a section of leaders from the Mount Kenya region allied to him, the public address system was switched off, leading to a standoff that lasted 4 minutes. The organizers standing their ground are said to have agreed not to allow any politician at the event. Gachagua and team resorted to take their leave. Now, the growing hostility towards leaders continues to bewilder the political class, wondering the next suitable avenue to further their agenda. The pulpit, once a favorable stage for politicians, has turned sour, and now even social events are not an option for leaders. And as Moige William now reports, President William Ruto says he will continue supporting churches, saying that his donations are not in any way political.
Close to every Sunday, they would command respect and honor. The people will calmly sit through their speech without any disruptions as they keenly lend an ear to the words uttered by their leaders. But this is no longer the scenario. The political landscape is quickly shifting. The pulpit is no longer darling to the political class. In fact, this very same place, it is now used to send criticism.
We see the massive corruption in our country, the high poverty rate, the widening gap between the rich and the poor, the crime rate, the unemployment, name it. And these are the very issues that our children, our youth the other day went to the streets to highlight.
The very same church leaders who extended an avenue to the political elites are the ones at the forefront leading a brutal purge to the politicians, expressing dissatisfaction into the running of the country. Barely 2 years of the Kenya Kwanza administration, a darling it was to the church. This in the run-up to the 2022 general elections.
The state of our roads, the state of our economy, the state of our schools, our public institutions have a lot to do with this vice of corruption.
Hakuna haja ya mashindano. Sisi wote tukiwa viongozi tupange vile tunaweza kupeleka Kenya mbele kwa pamoja. Ugomvi haina maana.
Social gatherings are also not a favorable option, especially in the Mount Kenya region. On Saturday, President William Ruto's economic advisor Moses Kuria, during the burial ceremony of nominated MCA Mark Gisheru, was shouted off the podium by Murang'a residents immediately. Kuria ventured into political rhetoric.
Akale kakashugwa goke.
Minutes earlier, the crowd broke into booing when a chance was given to read President William Ruto and Deputy President Kithure Kindiki's speech.
It is with heavy heart and great sorrow.
Over the past few months, the political landscape in Mount Kenya has pointed to a region in limbo after the impeachment of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua.
Hii maneno ilikuwa hebu juzi. Hiyo iko ground iko namna hiyo. Hii ya Murang'a jana iko namna hiyo. Si iko namna hiyo? That is the ground, and I told the president, usiguza hii mlima.
Last week, the Catholic Church said it will return a donation that was made by President William Ruto and Deputy President Kithure Kindiki.
Sisi hatutaacha kupeana kanisani na tutaendelea kupeana, na ikifika Wakristo wengine wanajitoa kutuzi viongozi, hapo ndio tunasema si sawa.
A growing public fury over President Ruto's administration of a lack of sensitivity to the suffering of Kenyans. The once popular president resorting to boardroom sessions with regional leaders as a strategy to show up public support for his government. Moige William, TV47.
Thank you, William, for that report. Now, President William Ruto has called for unity among leaders in the country. The president, who attended an interdenominational church service, maintained that unity transcends beyond political leaders and also to religious leaders. The same rallying call was made by his deputy Kithure Kindiki, who pitched camp in Marsabit County. George Maringa reports.
Kipsitet Primary School grounds in Kericho County provided the perfect setting for President William Ruto and his entourage to pitch camp for an interdenominational church service. Coming at the backdrop of a backlash from a section of religious leaders in the country, the head of state was quick to call for unity in the country.
Nauliza viongozi wote, viongozi wa siasa, viongozi wa biashara, viongozi wa kanisa, jameni tuungane. Hakuna haja ya ugomvi. Hakuna haja ya mashindano. Sisi wote tukiwa viongozi tupange vile tunaweza kupeleka Kenya mbele kwa pamoja. Ugomvi haina maana. Mashindano haina maana. Sisi wote, we have one country to serve. We have one people, the people of Kenya, to serve. Let us see how we can work together.
President Ruto calling for more cohesion.
Unhealthy, negative competition, unnecessary confrontation. Let us work together as business leaders, as political leaders, as spiritual leaders and church leaders. Let us work together for the greater good of the Republic of Kenya.
A similar gospel of unity traversed the northern Kenya frontier, where Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki attended a Thanksgiving and Sunday worship at AIC Core in Laisami's constituency, Marsabit County.
We must resolve all our problems as a country with love, diplomatically, quietly, and with understanding with one another. Rais ameongea juzi, akaongelesha taifa la Kenya. Na wale ambao mlisikiza, rais alisema hivi, ya kwamba taifa limekuwa na changamoto kadhaa kwa kadha. Ameng'ang'ana vile awezavyo. Kuna hatua kidogo tumepiga, lakini bado kuna kazi ya kufanya.
George Maringa, TV47, Nairobi.
Yale ambayo yamebaki.
Thank you, George. The Kenya Kwanza government has turned to places of worship to educate the Mwananchi about the social health insurance, now in a bid to get more Kenyans to register on the new health plan SHA. Anastasia Mukabi with that report.
Approximately 13 million Kenyans have registered on Social Health Authority. In an attempt to double these figures, the Kenya Kwanza government officials, including President William Ruto, have been using church services to sensitize Kenyans on the need to register for SHA.
Kila Mkenya apate nafasi ya kupata afya. Hatua ya kwanza kwa mambo ya afya ni wewe ujisajili.
Usijiandikishe peke yako. Ukijiandikisha, muandikishe mwenzako. Muandikishe baba ama muandikishe mama kama dependent.
Despite the challenges most Kenyans are facing to get comprehensive medical cover with SHA, the government has pledged to review the universal health coverage and issues pointed out by Kenyans.
Pia sisi kama serikali tunasema ndio kunaweza kukakuwa kuna changamoto iko, lakini sio kusema tumelala tu bila kutatua zile changamoto ziko kwa system.
Gharama yote ya Taifa Care ya the last 1 month tunalipa wiki hii in full.
Speaking at AIC mission in Kor Laisamis constituency, Marsabit County, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki confidently assured Kenyans that SHA will succeed.
I can say without fear of contradiction that the new social health insurance will work and it will benefit the people of Kenya.
People with disabilities have expressed their dissatisfaction with the current state of medical and healthcare coverage, citing issues ranging from longer approvals to minimal or restrictive coverage for critical health needs.
When it comes to this sector of therapy, occupational therapy, I was told that that package is not there. Our kids are rotting at home.
Sasa tunaomba serikali hii mambo ya SHA waone vile watafanya.
Anastasia Mukabi, TV47.
Tonight, a pastor in Nakuru accused of stabbing his wife is still at large as the wife receives treatment at a Nakuru hospital. This as the surge in femicide cases across Kenya sparked outrage from church leaders, activists and government officials. Calls for urgent action include strengthening family values, prioritizing mental health support, and forming specialized police units to address this disturbing trend. Take a look.
The alarming rise in femicide cases in the country has drawn sharp condemnation from church leaders, government officials and activists. A recent case involves a pastor at the Jesus Compassion Ministry in Kiambu's Ruiru area who allegedly stabbed his wife on Thursday. The pastor is still at large while the wife is receiving treatment at a hospital in Nakuru. Pastor Elias Njau is accused of attacking his wife Florence Wanjiku with a machete. The attack left Wanjiku with severe injuries to her hands and fingers while police intensify their search for the fugitive pastor.
Nilisikia ananikatakata, so I tried to protect myself with my hands, and I lost my fingers, all of them in this hand. The remaining one are fractured.
These voices are urging families to address deep-seated societal issues while pressing the government to take decisive action against the troubling trend.
Knowing without the peace at home, the good of the family, then the nation, the church, and everywhere else where we shall be, there shall be no peace.
Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru has weighed in on the matter, calling for the formation of a special police unit within the DCI to deal with these rising cases of femicide in the country.
Because what happens is that when there is a situation like this, even when someone knows the actual, they are also scared for their own lives, and maybe they will not be able to divulge the information or be confident enough to be a witness and still walk free. So we need a special unit that looks into these matters as well.
Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, spouse of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, also spoke passionately on the issue during a service at St. James ACK Church in Kiambu, urging parents to re-establish strong family values, citing a lack of emotional support and parental presence as factors contributing to the violence.
The issue is mental illness because of the stress and the circumstances that are around in this country. Some people have no jobs, and with all those stresses and mental illnesses which we have not been taking care of, many people they kill their parents, others because of economic issues they kill even their children just to be free, and they kill themselves. So I think that is one of the things is lack of the family values. The other one is mental health, and which is we need to address.
This case is part of a larger wave of femicide sweeping the country. Data from the National Police Service indicates that at least 97 women have been killed in the past 3 months alone.
Now, while some traditional customs are fading out in various communities across the country, there are still practices that continue to be dearly embraced by involving community members in various ways. And as Quinto Wafula reports, the Pokot community in Baringo County holds dear this ceremony, marking the transition of young people into adulthood in high regard.
It is 6 a.m. in Chamolingot area, Tiaty sub-county, Baringo County. sound of birds chirping is heard, signaling the break of a dawn. The preparations for the Sopana ceremony are underway, a rite of passage which marks the transition of the Pokot youth from the Moran age group to adulthood in the community.
Imefanyika kila kona kwa sehemu yetu ya TRT 2024 na inaanza November.
The ceremony begins with the young Pokot man in the transition stage killing a cow using a spear, followed by drinking its fresh blood, and finally being smeared with the cow's dung, which is taken from the intestines of the slaughtered cow. After this, the final steps of the ceremony follows, which involve assigning the young man responsibilities to fulfill.
Naenda kuchoma hiyo nyama sasa. Hiyo nyama sasa akimaliza hiyo nyama na wase ndio nakula, si wa kijana ambaye unakula. Sasa ukimalizika hiyo ndio sasa naweza kuenda kufanga hiyo dongo kwa kichwa.
The day ends with singing and dancing as women adorn the heads of the cows, while those who have qualified for the rite of passage, now full adults, complete the day's ceremonies with vibrant dances, cheers, and chants marking the completion of this significant day for them. This ceremony is highly cherished by the community. The reason being,
huyu achafanya sasa, huyu panaonekana bado mtoto. Kama wachafanya hiyo kitu,
nitakuwa na ruhusa ya kuingia mahali popote mahali kuna wazee.
I'll say in maybe address some baraza with wazee, maybe solve some small issues, community issues.
For him, he's transited from being a boy to a man. You understand? So I'm now an elder.
The community has lauded this rite of passage for the valuable lessons learned by those who undergo, stating that it holds great meaning for them and for fostering unity within the community and its neighbors.
Wanaongelesha vijana wale wanatembea kuleta madhara katika sehemu zetu, wanawaambia waache hiyo kazi mara moja.
Nakataa mambo kama hiyo. Kuwisi ya ng'ombe, kuwisi ya kuua nyama ya watu. Iko vile mnakulia kama msinga ya mtu, unaweza kuchukua msinga ya mtu, kitu kama hiyo ndio mnakataliwa.
And fundamentally, culture is beautiful. Culture is what we are. Culture is our being. So we cannot leave our culture and then begin adopting other people's cultures, and then you think that is now civilization.
Indeed, one who abandons tradition is said to be enslaved. This day will remain memorable for those who have qualified for this rite of passage and their families. Kinto Wafula, TV47.
All right, thank you, Kinto, for that. Now, Marsabit County is still grappling with water shortages since the inception of devolution. Residents are forced to walk for tens of kilometers in search of the commodity. Some are now blaming water cartels for their woes. Michael Kwena spoke to the locals and leaders and filed this report from Marsabit.
Marsabit County has experienced major transformations since the advent of devolution. From infrastructural developments to education, indeed, Marsabit has seen the fruits of devolution. However, despite all these advancements, a significant problem remains: the water crisis. A large number of residents in Marsabit town and its environs are struggling to access clean water for consumption. This is even after the current regime promised to solve the water challenges in the vast county. Marsabit Governor Mahmoud Ali has repeatedly assured residents that he will solve the water problem, though that hasn't been the case. 7 years after he took the county leadership, a section of residents have pointed fingers at water cartels in Marsabit County to be the cause of the problem.
Squeeze hata hatupati maji sijui inatolewa wapi, maji unanunua. Kama una pesa ya kununua utakaa hivyo. Sijua wenye wananunua maji wanatoa wapi na sisi hatupati maji. Ile maji zamani tunapatanga kwa tap, squeeze hakuna hiyo maji. Lakini watabuza zimejaa Marsabit ndio wanatuuzia. Mwenye kuna pesa ya kununua wananunua, maskini wanalala hivyo tu na kiu.
Busa huko ni 24 hours inachota. Kwa nini hapo wanaweka baada ya wiki moja? Ya busa ni matajiri ndio wanapelekewa. Sasa maskini gani anaweza nunua leo busa? Hiyo busa inasaidia nini? Na kama busa inasaidia, si wangepelekea watu free kwa kila mahali.
Marsabit town is supplied with water from the Bakuli Dam. According to the managing director of the Marsabit water company, Mawasko Sora Katelo, the number of consumers is high, thus the need for rationing.
For us, we pump water from Bakuli Reservoir that holds 300 million liters of water, and we ration it because this water is not sufficient. Marsabit is a water scarce area. This water is not sufficient, so we make sure that everybody gets this fair share of water within our supply system.
Those living below $1 per day have faulted how water is distributed in the town, with Katelo Godana residents saying that water from Mawasko benefits the wealthy alone.
Maji hapa inasaidia wadosi tu peke yake. Sisi kama tuko na pesa, maskini tunainua na dra moja 50, 40. Mara nyingine tunaenda kwa hii kichaka tunakunywa maji ile mbaya. Hii ya serikali inasaidia tu wadosi.
The managing director of Mawasko Sora Katelo says measures have been put in place to have 2 water points from every sublocation as part of an effort to address water access.
First line is that get 2 points in every sublocation to make sure that at least the residents have water. Number 2, backup from the water boozer, which will help the company in terms of meeting its O&M cost and also reaching out to one cadre of the clients.
It is not only the residents of Marsabit town who face water problems. The situation is even worse for those living in Kor, located 100 kilometers away from Marsabit town. The residents of Kor use contaminated water that has continuously caused diseases amongst them.
Sahi Kor kuna taabu. Watu wengi wanapata kansa. Hata ukunywa maji uweze kujua vizuri, unasikia uchungu.
Kuna shida ya maji sana. Sasa hivi mafereji zingine tunaambiwa ukienda sasa tap fulani pengine kuna maji unaambiwa enda mpaka sola icharge ndio ukuje upata maji.
It's now 14 years since the advent of devolution, yet Marsabit County is still grappling with acute water shortages. However, Marsabit Water Company Mawasko says it has already put measures in place to address the scarcity that is being witnessed across the region. Michael Kwena, TV47, Marsabit County.
All right, that report by Michael Kwena is taking us to a very fast short commercial break. At this point, we're coming back with more. Stay with us.
Vile unavyojua watoto wengi sana hawana namna. Mimi ningependelea watoto wasome.
I'm here to stress on education. At the same time, let us actually do any kind of sport that we are doing. Sport speaks the best language to everybody.
Tunataka tutafute talents. Zile raw talents kutoka kule nyumbani mashinani mahali tuko leo.
Hizi mbio za Chepsaita, like all other sports, zinaleta watu pamoja.
We want to use this event to uplift the lives of the community.
Anafurahia hii mchezo sana. Hata sikaange naambianga watu tuende Chepsaita.
Wanafunzi wakimbie ili wakuze talanta ya mbio ama kuhimiza tena elimu.
This is the place to be. Hapa ndipo mahali wanastahili kuwa tarehe 7. Wale watoto walikimbia last year, wamekimbia mpaka wamefuka mipaka zetu za Kenya.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. we dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism, how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights.
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer-centric.
Strategies.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
And stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream it, grind it. Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
Welcome back to the broadcast. You're watching TV47 Weekend Edition. Thank you for staying with us. Let's continue with our coverage. Now, according to the Turkana community, a man should have a traditional wedding by paying a dowry and killing a bull to earn respect in the community. If the man has children, then he will be deprived of the children by the uncle's family and will remain a lonely man in the community if he does not fulfill the tradition. Kitiomika attended the traditional wedding of Turkana Governor Jeremiah Lomorukaiwo, who was marrying a second wife in a traditional wedding, and filed this report.
It is early morning in the Kerio area. The elders are gathering in preparation for the traditional wedding of Turkana Governor Jeremiah Lomrukai, who is officially marrying his second wife.
Leo nimekuja kuhakikisha kwamba ama kuchapa sahihi kwamba mke huyu ambaye nimemwoa ni wangu kabisa na hatawahi kuwa mke wa mtu mwingine.
In the Turkana community, a man earns a respect when he performs the official traditional wedding ceremony and pays the dowry. During the event, a bull must be killed for the community to celebrate.
Katika desturi ya Turkana, mtu ambalo wajepeana mali, wajeua ndume, haidhabiki katika Turkana wetu.
Sisi kama Waturkana, hii ndio baadhi ya ile sherehe ama culture ambayo tunadhamini katika maisha yetu.
Watu wakitoka eneo mbalimbali, watu wa kawaida inawaleta pamoja.
Here is the first wife welcomes the new bride home. She explained her duties, but for the first wife, she takes on the responsibility of feeding the groom.
Siku ya leo mimi ndio mke wa kwanza, ninafanyia mke mwenzangu ambaye ni mke wa pili kufanyia mila vile mimi mwenyewe nilifanyia hiyo mila. Ameweza kutolewa kutoka kwao, tumepeleka kwa kina mwanaume.
Mimi nimekuwa sasa mke wa bwana yangu. Mke mwenzangu ya kwanza amefanya mzuri, amekuja kwa hii sherehe, tuko na yeye pamoja, ananipenda mimi.
When one failed to fulfill this traditional wedding ceremony, which is an important pillar in Turkana culture, the society will see him as a poor who do not deserve to be at the table for any discussion with the elders.
Yule ambao wamefanya harusi imeheshimika kwa sababu amepeana mali.
Mtu ambaye hajafanya harusi kama hii hawezi amka aseme kitu, hawezi kwa sababu hajawahi fanya.
Huyo anachukulia kuwa yeye ni kama ako ni maskini, ana mali, ndio maana hawezi akatoa hiyo mahali ya kuenda kuchukua huyo msichana akaleta katika boma yao.
When a wife gets married, a special ritual is performed so that the wife does not leave the marriage. She is smeared with the special sand mixed with the water that is believed to be holy, known as emunyen. This is a sufficient sign that the children are theirs.
It is today or yesterday that those children became my own property.
Ile mke ambaye amefanywa jambo kama hili, akienda kando na jambo hili, atakuwa amejiweka katika laana ambaye itasababisha kifo katika watu yake ama watoto yake na ama bwana yake ama hata yeye mwenyewe nafsi yake.
Turkana Governor Jeremiah Lomrukai, who has now married his second wife and held a traditional wedding, has asked the leaders to fulfill the traditional culture as one of the ways to be respected by the Turkana community.
If you have married, you have killed a bull officially, and the elders sit down and share the meat of the cows you've killed, I think that is when you get respected.
Kitiomika reporting for TV47 in Turkana County.
Now tonight we spotlight some of the multi-million government projects in Nairobi that were meant to transform this city but now lie abandoned or underutilized. Take for example the 800 million Kenyan shillings Kangundo Road Market. Despite being completed 2 years ago, it remains largely unoccupied. Similarly, the Green Park Terminus, which cost Nairobi City Council at least 250 million Kenyan shillings, sits empty 2 years after its completion. As Paul Kirobi reports, political interference and a lack of public involvement are being cited as key factors behind these stalled projects.
The ultra-modern Kangundo Road Market constructed by Nairobi County was meant to ease congestion in the city at a cost of 800 million shillings. Built just a few years ago, it was designed to be a game changer as part of the Vision 2030 projects outlined in the Nairobi Integrated Urban Development Master Plan. However, when you step inside, you're met with empty stores, no traders, and a complete lack of customers. Despite its ambitious goals, the market remains a ghost town. Some of the few traders who were relocated here are now struggling. They took loans to set up their businesses, but without customers, they are facing financial ruin.
Kama saa hii, hakuna customer wale tunategemea ama tunangojea hapa kwa soko. Ni kwenda kuwatafuta huko nje.
Kuna watu walianza siasa, governor sijui anataka kuharibu, anataka sijui kutoa mlima, sijui mlima nini, but sisi kama watu wa Kangundo Road tulikuwa ready kuwapokea.
Hatutaki wale wako ndani kwa soko wafungiwe, lakini magari walete hapa. Kama ni watu wale wanataka kuuza huko ya rejareja, wanaweza wakaja wakanunua.
Despite efforts to relocate traders from Marigiti and Mudhurwa markets who deal in onions, potatoes, pineapples and oranges, many declined to move to Kangundo Road. They argue that the distance is too far from the CBD and they were not allocated stores in the new market.
Zambo kuna mtu anakaa Ngong, utakuwa unatoka kutoka Ngong mpaka Tao, hiyo ni 100. Halafu unaingia gari nyingine ya 50 mpaka Kangundo Road na unalipwa 300. Hiyo ni 150.
The state-of-the-art Kangundo Road Market boasts impressive features, including lifts, CCTV cameras, parking lots for lorries, and a way bridge. It can accommodate up to 2,000 traders, yet remains largely underutilized. The lack of public participation in the planning process and the distance from the central business district have been major concerns. Traders feel left out of the decision-making process, leading to a lack of buy-in for the new market.
Ukiangalia hizi familia zote zenye ziko hapa ni mingi sana. So ukikuja kuchukua wewe unaweka interest ya mtu mmoja, utakuwa unafanya nini? Unaumisha familia mingi.
Another mega project that remains unused is the Green Park Terminus. This multi-million shilling facility was meant to accommodate long-distance passenger service vehicles, PSVs, helping decongest the city and bring order to the bus station area. Constructed at a cost of at least 250 million shillings, the Green Park Terminus is now seen as yet another dead project. Inside, CCTV cameras are broken, glass panes are destroyed, and the building is eerily quiet. Nothing meaningful seems to be happening here. The political tensions between former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja have been blamed for contributing to the project's downfall.
So walipokwenda kule akasema kwamba ndugu zetu wananyanyaswa na biashara yao inafinyiliwa, basi ikawa ni mahame, kila mtu akaamua kufanya kwamba hawataweza kushukisha abiria hapa.
This particular ultra-modern market was meant to accommodate more than 2,000 traders from different parts within the city of Nairobi. And this would have been a game changer to residents living in Embakasi and more especially those living along the Kangundo Road. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Paul, for that report. Now, the commemoration of World War I this year was held in Taita Taveta County, officiated by Kenya Defence Forces and graced by India, UK, German and Canada diplomats. Julius Mariki with the details.
This is an event that was officiated by KDF, so remembrance prayer service and laying of flowers at the Voi, Mwakitau and Taveta Commonwealth War Graves Cemetery in honor of the fallen heroes.
So it has been a very good weekend, remembering our heroes and letting them know that they will never be forgotten. There's an exercise that is ongoing to try as much as possible to identify those soldiers of African descent, and you remember there were many from different African countries, particularly of the Commonwealth, and in due course, I'm sure we'll try and trace one by one.
The event witnessed low locals' involvement, some local historians blaming it to the county government.
We have two sites in the sanctuary which were involved in the First World War. We have Mile 27, where the First World War took place and actual war took place, and a lot of souls were lost there. And the war pitted the German party, which actually attacked an armored train from Bura heading to Makitau, which was the largest barracks.
Commemoration event this year looks low-key, and the reason being we've not given it a lot of publicity. Much that it is being handled directly by KDF, Taita Taveta County needs to step in and leverage on it.
Frustrated when I see foreigners. We are here with the diplomatic corps and everything, the military attaches, but where are we Kenyans? Why is it yesterday at the Voi cemetery, the Kenyans stood outside the fence of the cemetery watching like we are not invited?
Julius Mareki, TV47, Taita Taveta.
Sports news brought to you by
All right, let's take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. Kenya Prisons emerged victorious in an intense 3-2 showdown against B in the Kenya Volleyball Federation League played at Nyayo Stadium. The back-and-forth encounter kept fans on the edge of their seats, with the Prisons demonstrating remarkable composure in the final set to claim the win with scores of 25-15, 16-25, 25-20, 11-25 and 13-15. Kenya Pipeline showcased their resilience, bouncing back from a shaky first set to dominate KDF in the remaining sets. The impressive comeback ensures Pipeline finishes the second leg unbeaten. Vihiga County Volleyball Club wrapped up the KVF Women's National League second leg with an impressive straight sets victory over Maranatha.
From the start, our matches were not that bad until today's match. Today's match was the one that we were looking forward to, because KCB has been our rivals ever since. They beat us last season. So this season we really had to work hard to beat them, and we did, and we are so happy we won this leg today. We realized that how we are playing is not working, so the finishing we had to change our tactics of playing. We had to do faster balls, and it actually worked. So that's one thing that we did on the last set that we had to play.
It was not easy for us, but we were well prepared. But the way the things it was there with our opponents, it was not good for them. It was not good for us. We started not well, but KCB started well. So I hope it was nice for my team to catch up with the scores that it was behind our scenes, but we thank God for everything.
It was a nice match today. We played KCB. It was a tough match, but we had a comeback. They were leading 2-1, but I'm happy. My players played well, especially introducing Mayo on the right opposite position. She really changed the game, and I'm happy for the win. It was a really tough match. Sometimes you start with young players, then you put in the experienced players. Mayo is an experienced player, Plaki same. So we started with the young players, then I came in and changed the game with the experienced players.
Justice Kiprotich took the top honors at the third edition of the Iten International Marathon held in Iten, Elgeyo Marakwet County. Kiprotich toppled the podium in a time of 2 hours, 14 minutes, 4 seconds, ahead of Benjamin Keegan and Collins Cheboi, who clocked 2 hours, 14 minutes, 29 seconds and 2 hours, 14 minutes, 39 seconds. Joel Kimutai and Gideon Mutai came home in 4th and 5th place respectively. In the ladies category, the reigning Doha Marathon champion Valerie Jemeli Ayebe bagged women's title after clocking 2 hours, 28 minutes, 57 seconds, crossing the finish line ahead of Vivian Cherotich Kosgei, who clocked 2 hours, 32 minutes and 4 seconds, with Sheila Chibichi Kemei wrapping up the podium in 2 hours, 37 minutes and 28 seconds.
Leo ilikuwa mzuri. Nikilinganisha na races zingine, hii ni mzuri. Hii ni mzuri sana. Hii race ni mzuri sana. At least inajenga wakimbiaji wenye wanakuja.
Kwa race. Ilikuwa competition ilikuwa juu. Ilikuwa juu kabisa. Natarajia. Sikuwa natarajia kabisa. Kwa sababu mbio imekuwa ngumu, imekuwa competition. Sana shukuru Mungu.
Hii mwaka ni climate resilience. Tunataka sisi kuchunga environment yetu. Elgeyo Marakwet ina supply maji kwa kaunti zote jirani. Na hao makaunti wote jirani wanatutegemea. Na pia tunajitegemea sisi wenyewe kwa maji. Kwa hivyo this time round Tunataka tufunze watu wetu jinsi ya kupanda miti, jinsi ya kuchota maji ama ile inaitwa water harvesting.
And Chris Ziemer of Germany claimed victory in 58 minutes 40 seconds, narrowly beating Australian brothers Noah Kuz and Samuel Kuz, who came second and third in a time of 58 minutes 42 seconds and 58 minutes 58 seconds respectively in the African Triathlon Tournament in Kilifi finals. Now Kenya's Joseph Okal was the top local performer, finishing 6th in 1 hour 9 seconds. In the women's satellite category, Cambodian Margot Garibodian dominated with a time of 1 minute 11 seconds. Moroccan Nora Nouri finished second in a time of 1 hour 16 seconds. Kenya's Aisha Nasser proudly secured the third position in a time of 1 hour 18 seconds. The finals showcased top-tier competition, attracting elite athletes from across the globe competing in a world triathlon sanctioned event. The elite race distance included a 750 meters swim, a 20 kilometers cycling, and a 5 kilometers race with athletes from nations like Germany, Australia, Cambodia, Kenya, Tanzania, Morocco, Uganda, and Japan.
Came third position overall and first in the Kenyan team. Representing the Kenya team is an honor, and I'm happy to be here, happy to experience the Africa Cup for the 4th time now in a row for consecutive years.
Got a puncture, and so we were 3 in the front, yeah, and we extended our lead to like 1 minute, and yeah, on the one it was quite hard, but yeah, I'm able to win today, and I'm happy to be here, and yeah, it was a great race, and yeah, I'm happy.
It's very hot, but it's an amazing race, amazing people say, yeah, come on, so it's great.
And I'm very happy to run today in Kilifi in Kenya. It's my first time in Kenya, and I very like the race.
And to the participants, we will want to have next year a bigger event more than this for the Africa Triathlon Cup. We will want to have more of Kilifians participating. You've seen many people coming from Nairobi, we've seen people coming from all the way from Western, but next year I want to challenge you that we'll be having a bigger team only from Kilifi that will be spearheaded by the Department of Sport.
All right, that's all we had in store for you in the world of news. Don't go too far. We are taking a very short break at this point. When we come back, To The Point is up next, and our conversation of the night is men and mental health. Remember, this month is Movember, and this is the last Sunday of Movember. We'll be telling you what Movember really means after this break, so stay with us.
Vile unavyojua watoto wengi sana hawana namna. Mimi ningependelea watoto wasome.
I'm here to stress on education. At the same time, let us actually do any kind of sport that we are doing. Sport speaks the best language to everybody.
Tunataka tutafute talents. Zile raw talents kutoka kule nyumbani mashinani mahali tuko leo.
Hizi mbio za Chepsaita, like all other sports, zinaleta watu pamoja.
We want to use this event to uplift the lives of the community.
Anafurahia hii mchezo sana. Hata sikaange naambianga watu tuende Chepsaita.
Wanafunzi wakimbie ili wakuze talanta ya mbio ama kuhimiza tena elimu.
This is the place to be. Hapa ndipo mahali wanastahili kuwa tarehe 7. Wale watoto walikimbia last year, wamekimbia mpaka wamefuka mipaka zetu za Kenya.
Hey there friends,
Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism, how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights.
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer-centric.
Strategies.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
And stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream it, grind it. Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
All right, welcome back. You're watching TV47 Weekend Edition. It's time for To The Point, and our conversation of the day is this: men's mental health. Now, today we mark the last Sunday of November, and this is a month dedicated to raising awareness about men's health, particularly mental health and suicide prevention. Now, November isn't just about growing a mustache. It's a movement to spark meaningful conversation and challenge the stigma surrounding men's mental health. Now, according to the Kenya Red Cross Society, men face a disproportionate risk when it comes to suicide and mental health challenges in the country. The statistics are very alarming, and if we can just have them on the screen. We start with the suicide rates, and the Kenya Red Cross says men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than women in Kenya. They make approximately 80% of all suicide rates. And if we take a look, Director, Scholar, let's have the depression, yes, that one. Now, 1 in 10 men in Kenya experience depression, and depression often goes unnoticed or untreated, especially in men, due to societal norms that discourage emotional expression. That is according to the Kenya Red Cross. And the Kenya Red Cross also says that only 50% of men seek or receive treatment. Now, why are we having this conversation today? International Men's Day was on Tuesday this week, Scholar. And International Men's Day is celebrated on November 19 every year, and it's celebrated worldwide. To really just bring about the positive value men bring to the world, their families and communities. And the theme for this year, 2024, is a positive male role models. That is the conversation we're having tonight, and to help me with this conversation is none other than Robert Burali, who is just right next to me here. How are you, Robert?
Very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And right next to Robert is Boniface Young Salala, a psychologist at the Karen Hospital. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
What better way to start this conversation than to ask these gentlemen on set today, how are you doing mentally, Robert?
I hope Manchester United has won the game. That would be a good start. No, but I'm okay. I'm okay. I think I'm at a good place because I know how to control things in as far as support structures, which is where we wish most men would be, in as far as having a support structure. When a man says he's okay, it's not in the words that he's saying. It's the tone in which he's saying. So I am okay, I'm okay. Same 3 words. I'm okay, I'm okay. But they mean totally different things. So for you to know a man is okay, you have to check the tonal variation and the facial expression as he's saying is okay. Yeah. So I'm okay.
You're okay.
Yes,
you're good. You're thriving.
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
Boniface, how are you doing mentally?
I'm doing fine. And the reason I'll say I'm doing fine is because I'm working in a mental health institution. So I need to take care of my mental well-being before I can offer good mental health services to the clients who are coming to see me. So in the process, you find that I engage in debriefing sessions and supervision sessions just to make sure I'm competent enough in delivering my services. Yes.
Now, the statistics are also here with us. Suicide rates, men are committing suicide as compared to women. What exactly are we doing as women that maybe the men can also tap into to also just ensure that they are stable in terms of their mental health, Robert?
Well, women talk. I mean, all you need to do is sit next to a woman in a salon doing the same hairstyle and you're best of friends. The mind of a woman is that as long as I'm talking to a fellow woman, then I'm safe. But for men, it's the totally opposite. If I show you my vulnerability, if I talk about my struggles, will you still respect me as a man? So what happens, we shy away. We want to die with our issues. The 2 of us can meet one day. We will discuss football, we'll discuss politics, we'll discuss women. And then all of us go back home with our same issues. But then it's a societal issue. And I've said this time without number. When we were young as men, as boys, when you fall down and you're about to cry, what were your brothers told? Boys don't cry. Or you say, don't look at him. If you look at him, we will cry. And if a girl fell down, we would all rush to the girl asking her, are you okay? So if you tell me not to cry at the age of 5, when I turn 50, don't expect me to cry. don't expect me to show vulnerability. So we need a mindset change. It's not going to be easy, especially for men my age. We have grown all these years knowing we are not supposed to show vulnerability. Even when I go to a professional, he will have to dig deep. I need to look at him, I need to hear his words properly before I open up. And he might start by telling me, okay, so which football team do you support? You know, what movie do you like? But if he starts professionally, I'm going to hold back and say, no, 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 no. If he meets me tomorrow in a supermarket, will he still respect me as a man? That's where our problem is. But society played a major role. And we are trying, to be honest with you, by talking to the younger boys to tell them vulnerability is not weakness. Yeah.
Now, you said you're told at 5 years old not to cry, and that also brings me to my next question concerned, do you cry as Robert Burali?
I do, but I don't.
Okay.
Men cry differently. Yes, we may shed tears. I mean, I don't want to go around somewhere seeing men screaming. You understand what I'm saying? We shall have to call that man for a meeting and tell him, listen, cry like a man. We cry in silence, we scream in whispers, we shed tears on dry faces. Crying for a man sometimes is going away. He's saying, you know what, I need my space. Crying for a man sometimes is saying, you know what, just let me be. Do not interfere with my time now. So we may not cry like women, but sometimes because of the issues of life, we even cry louder. But remember, ours is in silence, tears on dry faces, asking for help in whispers and not loud voices. So you pick what we are not saying. And I know women have said before that that's not our work. But let me tell you one thing. We are social beings. If you say that's not your work, yet you've been raised to help that man, when that man goes, you're left naked. Your children are left exposed. So I believe, and we're not saying we are weak, we don't know how to help ourselves, but I believe there has to be an effort, societal effort, to try and bring the man back together, because it's the society from the age of 5, from the age of 3, that tuned us not to cry, not to show vulnerability. So you've had people saying, mwanaume ni kuparara, mwanaume ni kujigamba. No, sometimes we die because of that. Yeah.
Boniface, what does crying as a man look like, and why exactly in this day and age are our men not showing emotions?
I'll say that when we look at the traditional ideas surrounding mental health, whereby a man is supposed to be masculine, is supposed to be stoic, you find that this discourages men from coming out and talking about their mental health issues, because they'll be perceived vulnerable and weak whenever they talk about their mental health issues. So today I want to tell you that it's okay to cry, because even in our funerals we usually say in Kiswahili, tuache aliye mtoke. So when we talk about tuache aliye mtoke, what do we usually say? Tuache aliye mtoke, right? Basically it's getting that calming effect from crying, right? So we need to be able to cry, and doing this, it helps or it promotes and it encourages men to come forward to share their mental health struggles or issues. Because when you look at reasons why men are not coming out clearly to share about their issues, we are looking at societal expectations, we are looking at responses from others, and also we are looking at races, whereby when you look at the black man is he's perceived to be this strong kind of a human being, whereby he's not supposed to talk about or to go to therapy or embrace therapy compared to women. So you find that they remain in silence and fail to come out and talk about this issue, whereby it drives them to depression, and then at the end of it, it drives them to intentions or willingness to commit suicide.
All right, so Salala, what is really causing the spike in the rise in mental health issues, especially in our men?
When I look at men, I'll say that it's because of the stereotypes surrounding the gender types, right? Because, as I've said, men are supposed to be these strong human beings, whereby they're supposed to be breadwinners, strong and dominant characters. And you'll come to find that this prevents them from coming out to share their issues, and in return, leading them to fall into stress, anxiety, and depression. And when you look at stress and anxiety, basically stress is a pressure or tension exalted on something. Anxiety is a worry gone wild, and depression whereby one starts experiencing symptoms of isolation and such. So you find that these are the contributing factors to why men are not coming out to talk about their mental well-being.
All right, now, Robert, that brings me to my next point. The theme for this year's International Men's Day was positive male role models. Now, of course, that is the role of men in society. There's so much expectations from the society towards women. Do you think this is also causing a rise into mental health issues among men?
No, absolutely, absolutely. And as you said, the theme for this year is a positive role model. Now, this is where also, and I'm sure the professional will agree with me, the problem is. What am I talking about, I hear you ask? What we call a positive role models, there's a greater percentage, they're not positive, they're angry, telling us what we want to hear. When you tell a man, go and look down upon a woman, you know, a man must have too many women, and we young men call those as positive role models. Positive role models is teaching young boys who to become men of the right value, the foundation of honor, the foundation of integrity, the foundation of godliness. Not telling men, you know, if you don't have more than 3 women, then, and that's the pressure. I've talked to these young boys in university who now go to do crazy things because they're trying to juggle 4 women. And then you're competing with a mubaba with silver hair like mine, with a big car, and then you are competing with ndondos, you know what and what, and then these young men are being pushed into drugs and alcohol because they can't handle the pressure, because somebody told them, go and sleep around. So we need to actually have boys being told the honest truth, that being a man does not mean your pelvic movement. Being a man does not mean how many women you sleep with. Being a man means a foundation of honor and integrity and being under authority. Those are the boys that we need to raise to become men who will take care of their mothers, honor their wives, protect their sisters, and the society will be a better place.
All right, now Salala, of course, Robert has also mentioned a very important point, competition and the pressure. Now, is social media fueling this mental health issues among men in the country? And also, what is the connection between social media and mental health?
I'll agree with Mr. Burale by saying that social media, it's a contributing factor to discouraging men to come out and talk about their issues. And why would I say so? Because you'll come to find that our social media, you find that they portray a man who comes out to seek help or to embrace therapy as being vulnerable and weak. So in relation to this, you find that young kids, young boys coming up, perceive this and take it into account, whereby they're not able to come out and talk about this particular issue. And that's something that leading to the growth of men not embracing therapy compared to women. So we need to promote a society whereby we are bringing up men that are self-aware about themselves, have aspects of emotional intelligence, and are engaging in positive self-care activities to promote their mental well-being. Because at the end of the day, we have positive coping strategies or mechanisms, and also we have negative. I'll use an example of something like alcohol, which is a maladaptive or a negative coping mechanism. You find that at the end of the day, yes, it will help you at that particular moment to solve that particular stressful situation. But whenever you sober up, that particular problem will still be there waiting for you to solve it, or it will have escalated, right? So you find that this particular reason, or alcohol in return, will have an impact on your pocket and an impact on your health, whereby it's a negative coping mechanism, while we have other positive diversion techniques such as engaging in exercise, doing some jogging, doing some running, doing prayers, and all that are positive self-care activities.
Robert, you know, it has been known that women, sisi kama wanawake, we normally feel the pressure maybe to showcase a certain lifestyle. Now, do men also feel that pressure when it comes to social media and trying to show the world they're rich, I have this, is that also the case for men?
Absolutely. I think, as my brother said, social media has bedeviled both genders, okay? Both male and female. The wanting to look alpha, wanting to look like the best thing since sliced bread. You know, when somebody posts this, you want to show you have this other car. You want to show you in this restaurant, you're eating, you're taking caviar and all those kind of things. And this pressure, social media is, in my opinion, the best thing, yet the worst thing that has happened. And that's why we need to make sure we raise people who will not feed the monster called social media, because identity is not in social media. Unfortunately, people are looking for identity in social media. And that is why you see somebody posting something and every 3 seconds is looking to see who was commented and how many likes have I had. That is looking for affirmation, looking for an identity. Yet we must understand that identity is an inside job. So it doesn't matter what anybody is showcasing out there. As long as I know I am centered within myself, I will not go under that pressure. And now the problem now, and men and we've had the privilege of talking to very many men, is they say their girlfriends or their wives look at what other men are doing and they come and put pressure on them at home. So this man posts a photo, he's going to Dubai with his wife and 3 children. Then your wife comes and says, we only have 1 child and you're only taking us, you know, within 45 minutes of a flight. You know, we need to be on air for 5 hours, but you're taking us to those ones of no sooner had I than. You take off and you land. And that pressure has put men in a place where now you want to stretch yourself beyond the elastic limit. And when you get to a place that you feel you now have exhausted all your options to assist you in living that lifestyle that you really can't afford, then what do? You think about unaliving yourself. You think about alcohol abuse to tell you that it is okay. And that's why you've said close to 80% of the suicides are by the men. It's because of such pressures. Now, before I cause a ruckus, I'm not saying all women are like this, because we have women who understand the position of the man and help the man. But I'm talking about, and I'll tell people this, let me speak to my fellow men, and I'm sure nenda kuchoma sahi. If your woman is excited about social media, excited about what people are saying about her on social media, what people are saying about you as a couple on social media, you're in trouble. Nip that thing at the bud, because you will be put under crazy pressure. And even for women, if your man is excited about what people say, how they perceive you as a couple, then you're also in trouble.
Young, what does mental illness look like to begin with? And do men really know how mental illness look like?
You'll find that when we talk about mental illness, we have to understand what mental health basically means first. You'll come to understand that mental health basically is one, being able to cope with the stresses of life, being able to act, think, and reason in ways that we can say are within the normalcy kind of levels. But when you look at mental illness, basically is a deviation from these norms that we know, or we can say they portray a good mental well-being or define what mental health is. So you find that in most cases, mental health disorders borrow symptoms from each other. And I'll use an example of a condition such as depression. When you look at depression, it has 2 sides of the symptoms. We have the vegetative side, symptoms dealing with our physical health, and then we have the subjective side, symptoms dealing with our emotions. So on the vegetative side, we have things like loss of sleep, loss of appetite, loss of energy, and all that. And on the subjective side, we have things like feelings of hopelessness, sadness, feelings of irritability. So you find that whenever one starts experiencing these symptoms such as social isolation, changes in sleep patterns, appetite level, anger, aggression, and all these, we say one is experiencing either a mental health breakdown or one is experiencing mental health challenges. So these are some of the symptoms that we can use to say that most mental health disorder come with, but different mental health disorders with different symptoms, because they have different criteria in terms of the diagnosis. For one to say one is either suffering from depression, bipolar, or schizoaffective.
So, Robert, when do you men get to the point when you say, I need help, I need to get help at this point?
Sadly, we don't really say it. we pray that somebody realizes we need it.
What if no one realizes that you need help as Robert?
And that's why we have men's conferences to talk to these men.
Do they attend them?
Yes, I attended one from Sitam yesterday. There were about 3,000 men. One in Buruburu, we had a full house as well. Because this is what they say about men. But I thought he was okay yesterday. Now, this is on the foundation of somebody has already unalived himself. You understand? So now, since now people are going through so much that it's hard for me to pick when he's going through hell and high water, because maybe I'm also going through my own issues. Now we need to break this stigma that vulnerability is a sign of weakness. You know, mwanaume hafai kulia. Even when a man goes to the police station and says, my wife is beating me, even the policemen, they will even laugh as they write the OB. If at all they write the OB. That is why men are recoiling. Now, what am I saying? To answer your question, is that I'm urging all the men, it is okay, speak it. But to another man, be another man's safe space. That if I tell you, you will not go now and tell the whole world what I told you. If you helped me, don't go and sing to the whole world how you helped me. You know, if somebody is struggling and we help them, we forget as soon as you have helped. Not telling his wife, you know, we are the reason you had dinner today because your husband came and he had nothing to eat. When that happens then to a man, he will never speak to anybody else. When now his head is being swallowed or drowned, then he commits suicide. So men, I urge you, can I look at this camera here?
Yes.
I urge all the men, please pick up a phone and check on somebody. In fact, just say, bro, I am just checking on you. If you want to talk, I'm here. Just that. But we have very many men watching football, screaming and clapping and all that. But when they go home, they're lonely. When they go home, they're asking God, when will you take me out? When they go home, there's nobody answering their calls. When they go home, it's darkness on the left, on the right, on the front, and the back. And there's only one voice that is louder than every other voice, is that you're as useless can be. It is time to check out of this world. And many men, sadly, have died before their time.
Right.
We are leaving no man behind. It is okay not to be okay, but it is not okay to die in silence.
It's okay not to be okay. That is a point from Robert Burale. Now, Salala, is the narrative changing by any chance? Are men coming after you to look for help? You're a psychologist. Is this narrative changing, really?
I'll say back then, the stigma surrounding mental health was very high, right? Compared to right now. Because right now, at least we have institutions coming out promoting mental well-being. And last year in September, the government passed what we called workplace mental health guideline, whereby at least each organization or each institution needs to have a wellness departments taking care of their employees' well-being. So you'll come to find that right now there's a lot of sensitization surrounding mental health, and you'll find that right now at least a good number of men are starting to embrace therapy. And today I just want to tell men that coming to therapy is not about being given advice on how to go run your life, or it's not a one-day kind of solution whereby you'll be told like wale waganga wa Kitui, go do this and this, at the end of the day your life will be good. It's basically you working collaboratively with a therapist to come up with good coping mechanisms and strategies to help you navigate the normal challenges of life. So I believe right now the narrative is changing, but we need to do more in terms of sensitization and just educating our men that it's okay not to be okay, as my good brother Mr. Burale has said, so that we can bring more men on board to receive these particular services.
All right, there's a question that I put up the other day on Twitter to ask men, who really is championing your mental health? And I got a very interesting comment right here who said, mwanaume ni kuzoea ni kuvumilia shida, work hard and read books, mental health sorted. Who is your support system, Robert?
I have a mentor. A man who is never under authority can never be a person of authority. You must have somebody you look up to, somebody who can call you and sit you down and speak as you listen. I also have men who I call my peers, who we can challenge each other. So I have the man I look up to. He calls me anytime. I will drop everything and go. I have peers who we speak as brothers. And then I have men who look up to me. So then, the one I look up to will make sure I don't fall. My peers challenge me as we move forward. The one who follows me is the one who makes me say, I cannot fail, because if I fail, they will also fail. If you have those four around you as a man, then failure will be almost impossible.
Interesting, powerful, Robert. Now, Young, I'll also just pose the same question to you. You are in a field where you look after people.
Yes.
People come to you, you ask them how they're doing mentally. Sayo, you're also in the pits, literally you're drowning. So who is taking care of you guys?
Yeah. I'll say at Tranquil Med Center, our tagline is care for carers. And what does that mean? I'll use an example of 2020 during the COVID period, whereby most doctors or healthcare professionals were taking care of people who are during that COVID particular period of time. So you'll come to find that no one was taking care of these carers. Or for example, a parent has a kid who is suffering from cancer or diabetes. The discrimination that comes with it for taking care of this kid, the financial problems, this particular carer also needs support to be able to offer the best care possible to this particular relative or a friend. So you'll find that even me at in the field of mental health, I have what we call a supervisor, whereby we do the debriefing sessions, whereby I'm able to talk about how I'm being affected in my day-to-day practice. Because at the end of the day, you can imagine, if today I see 5 clients with different issues, the next day I see 5 clients with different issues, for a week I'll have ingested a lot of problems from all my clients. But I have to be reflecting on these particular problems, doing what we call a retrospection, to be able to come up with good solutions to offer to my clients. So at the end of the day, I'll be affected. And I need also to look for someone who will be able to help me or support me towards that particular journey. So I have a psychiatrist who also does debriefing sessions for me. But at the end of the day, I focus also on my support system. And who are my support system? The people who understands my strengths, who understands my weaknesses, and this can be my relatives, my family members, friends, colleagues at work, and all that. People that can understand me better and support me whenever I'm not going in the right direction.
Interesting, interesting. Now, let me just read some few comments before we continue. Someone here says the men of 24th century, if not all, are moving caskets. The image of a man and the explicit responsibility bestowed on a man has greatly impacted on the ego of a man that they have to live beyond limits to make the public happy. Now, the level of irresponsibility in men has also emanated from neglect of the growing man by society, limited education and peer pressure. All this adds up to mental health. Do you agree, Robert?
Yes, to a large extent. Moving caskets, powerful statement. You know, when am I going to check out? I'll tell you something that is not a good thing to say. There is an age a man reaches and the society wants to vomit you. A man is respected in your time and age of strength, where you are needed, where you are needed to pay school fees, where you're needed to put a roof over your people's head. When that is no longer needed, the society wants to vomit you out. And that is why many men will hear this statement at some point in their life. Mama, thank you for loving me. Dad, thank you for paying school fees. And many, many men have died like that.
All right. Young, that is a very powerful comment right here, or statement. But of course, as we are almost winding up, there's this saying that says when people, they say kitambo atukwa na mambo kama hizi, mental health issues. I know you've heard that line. Yeah. Now, what exactly was happening kitambo that is not happening today? We are seeing cases of depression, anxiety, people are being taken to rehabs. What is happening now that wasn't happening back then?
You'll find that when we look at these particular cases or mental health problems, back then people used to believe either they've been bewitched or so, depending with how our communities are. Because different communities are portrayed differently when we go back into the past, whereby you'll hear more cases of witchcraft and so on. So right now you'll find that there's more awareness surrounding mental health, and you'll come to find that on our day-to-day activity, we encounter a lot of stressful situations. So in the process, and then the sensitization, people becoming more aware, self-aware, and having the aspects of emotional intelligence is a good contributing factor to sensitize or to enable men come out and understand that these problems are there and solution is always available. So you find that people right now are becoming more self-aware that these particular problems exist and anyone can face these particular problems because mental health doesn't segregate. For example, a human being's brain is compared to a computer. If you load a lot of things in your computer, it will start being slow. You need to take it to an IT expert to be able to rectify that problem. So what about your mental health? Whenever you get stressed, where do you go to? That's the big question we ask ourselves. We need also to reach out to professionals who are not going to judge us, provide an empathetic kind of environment, and also validate our feelings. So I'll say that right now there's more self-aware, people are becoming more self-aware, and then the sensitization surrounding mental health. Our social media, our media institutions are coming out very clearly to support and to promote mental health.
Of course, as Robert says, social media is a good thing, also a bad thing that has ever happened to the world. Now, solutions, of course, as we close and in 1 minute. You are the founder of Men of Valor, Robert.
Right.
Tell us about this as we close.
Well, Men of Valor is trying to heal men who have reached an age where they say nothing can be done, and also mentoring young boys not to get to a place where they need healing, but grow into the fullness of being a man. So we travel all over the country and beyond, speaking to these men about very pertinent issues, about fatherhood, about honor, about self, and about gender. Not that there are other genders. You're either men, not start wearing pink underwear, not start walking around like a girl and saying some crazy things. A man is a man, was born a boy, will die a man.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. You see, they're already playing that music for us, telling us to leave the studio. But all right, thank you so much for watching. We have Joseph Lubanga right here saying this is a very informative show that needs to be enhanced to reduce the negative impacts. Thanks a lot, both TV47 and Robert and Young Salala, for this conversation. That is Joseph Lubanga. Thank you, gentlemen, Robert and Boniface Young Salala, for making time for To The Point. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
That's it. There you have it. It's okay not to be okay. My name is Anne Odida. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Catherine Simaloi. Thank you for watching and see you next time, inshallah. Have a good night.